Hello everyone. This is Dr. Srinivasappa Ji, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Sira. The college is affiliated to Tumakuru University, Karnataka. Today in the video lesson, I want to introduce the characters of the play, The Way of the World, which is written by William Congreve. In the last three sessions, we have been discussing on restoration theatre, influence, and tradition of the restoration theatre. Particularly now we are going to study the play, The Way of the World. To study the play, to read the play, to understand the play, to get into the play, we need the characters. We want to know the characters. Unless you know the character, there will be confusion while reading and even watching the play. There will be the big number of characters in the play Way of the World. When the characters are many, both the major and the minor characters, and there will be a kind of confusion in understanding the relationship between the characters. And then that leads to misunderstand the plot and the story of the play. Therefore, as characters are the soul of the play, for a writer, and Aristotle he says plot is the soul of the play. Shakespeare, we see that he gives much importance for the characters. And there were a big the conflict between the two theories, as between the classical tragedies and tragedies of Shakespeare. The classical tragedies, we see the character is destiny. That is destiny's character. In the place of Shakespeare, we see character is destiny. There is a destiny's character in the classical tragedies, and character is destiny in Shakespearean tragedies. Characters, they play the very important role in the play, particularly because the play is meant for dramatization and action, the theatre. There could be no action without characters, and there could be no kind of exchange of dialogues and development of the plot. We never expect. Therefore, for any play, characters are most important. Therefore, to understand Way of the World, the play by William Congreve, now in this session, we will try to understand both the major and minor characters and the relationship and the background. Then it will be helpful for us to understand the plot. If you straight away go to the plot, immediately there will be confusion of characters and understanding and the relations, and that misleads to understand the plot and story. That is quite common. Therefore, I think it is essential part of the reader of the play to know the characters and the relationship and the kind as well. So in this video session, I am going to introduce you the characters of the play, Way of the World. Mirabel. Listen the names very carefully. The names were very unique and typical. And spellings are also like that. When you read the play and the material, you can understand the spelling. Now, listen how to pronounce the name of the characters. Mirabel is the important character, the hero of the play, a protagonist of the play. Mirabel, a young man, a handsome man, and is a man of town. He lived in the town. He knows all the fashionable ways of the world. He was in touch with urbanity. He was a man of passions and love. He was in love with Millamant. The play begins with Mirabel and Millamant. They used to exchange their love. With that love scene, the play begins. Then that I will tell you later. Millamant is the young the girl whom Mirabel loves in the play. Now you know the two characters. Keep remember Mirabel and Millamant. The most important characters. The play begins and ends with them. You never forget these two characters. Mirabel and Millamant, young boy and the girl of the town. And come to Millamant, important the heroine of the play. As Mirabel is the hero of the play. She is young, very charming lady. Very attractive, very beautiful. She is in love with Mirabel, and she was also loved by Mirabel too. Both were loving each other. With the loving scene, the play begins. Now it is quite clear for you that Mirabel and Millamant both are lovers. With their love, the play begins. With the marriage, the play ends. Keep it. And Millamant, the young, I told you, very charming lady, in love with Mirabel and loved by Mirabel. See the word of Lady Wishford. One more thing you should do, keep remember. She was the ward of Lady Wishford. Lady Wishford was a senior character in the play, the widow. And she was the ward, guard of the Wishford. She was living with Wishford. She was living in the bungalow of Wishford. Because see the niece of Lady Wishford, why she could become ward and that is the guard of Wishford and living in the house of Lady Wishford, because Millamant was the niece of Lady Wishford. There was a blood relationship between the Lady Wishford and Millamant. Long dead husband side relations they have. She is the first cousin of Mrs. Finer. Now, while understanding Millamant, you are getting touch with two other characters. That is Lady Wishford and Mrs. Finer. How they are related. Millamant, you know, lover of the Mirabel, and niece of Fishford, and Gerda Fishford, and first cousin of Mrs. Fainall. And she was young and energetic, and she was seriously loving me. That is Mirabel. This is quite clear for you. And come to when we see the Mrs. Fainall, there should be a Mr. Fainall. That is the husband and the wife. It relates like this. Mr. Fainall, a young man, about town. He was also like Mirabel, and they were close friends. They were contemporaries. They were the same age group. He and Mirabel know each other well. They were living in the same town and at the same age, as people do who move in the same circles. Almost they were playing the same game and same flat. One married and one is yet to marry. Finally, he married and he was playing the game and flat. Mirabel, he is yet to marry Millamant, but still he is doing the plots and the plans and scandals. Both were doing the same deed. Keep remember, Fainall and Mirabel, almost they were resembling the same character, but one married, one not yet married. Yet to be married. Are the most important characters of the whole game. However, they do not really like each other, though they are living together, planning together, sharing everything together, but in reality, they are not liking each other. Fainall married his wife for money. Fainall is a man of that is the greedy, and he married Mrs. Fainall, the daughter of Lady Wishford. Lady Wishford was a wealthy young widow. She had a daughter, Mrs. Fainall. And here Fainall loved Mrs. Fainall and loved for money. Now it is quite clear for you that Mrs. Fainall and Mr. Fainall. Fainall was a friend of Mirabel, you know, and Mrs. Fainall, the daughter of Lady Wishford. They married each other. Mrs. Fainall, now I am going to introduce to you. Mrs. Fainall, the wife of Fainall, I told you already, and daughter of Lady Wishford. She was wealthy young widow, and when she married Fainall, Lady Wishford was young widow, I told you, and she got married. That is Fainall. She is Millament's cousin and was Mirabel's mistress. See that. Mrs. Fainall, daughter of Lady Wishford and wife of Mr. Fainall, and Millament's cousin. Millamant, she was the lover of Mirabel and was Mirabel's mistress. Though she married Mr. Fainall and leading the family life, still she could become the mistress of Mirabel. This is a wonderful twist, a complicated relationship. You see here. See the characters, many more characters of the play. Mrs. Marwood, another important character. Mrs. Marwood, Fainall's mistress. You know that Fainall already married the daughter of Wishford, Lady Wishford. That is Mrs. Fainall. And Mrs. Fainall in turn loved and could become mistress to Mirabel. You see the complications of love. Mrs. Marwood, Final's mistress. And Mirabel, he had a mistress of Final's wife. Both had the mistress. It is complicated relations, you see. It does appear, however, that she was and perhaps still is in love with Mirabel. See that again. Mrs. Mirabel was in love with, Mrs. Final was in love with Mirabel. This love is not returned. Now Mirabel seriously loving Millamant. And Mirabel had a mistress, that is Mrs. Final. And Mrs. Marwood also the mistress of Final and Mirabel. See these complications. Come to another character, young Whitwood. He was a poff. Means he was a spendthrift. A boy of young boy, spending money for a luxurious life, a fashionable boy. He came to London from country, from a village, to study law. To study law, he came to London, the young boy. But apparently found the life of a fashionable man about town more pleasant. Was quite attracted by the young fashionable life in the London. When he was studying law in the London, he came to London by the village. He has pretensions to being a wit, and he was in the company. He used to boasting of his wit and wisdom. He was pretending that he was the most witful and intellectual man of the day. He quotes Millamant. See that Millamant was actually loved by Mirabel, honestly, seriously. But here, young Whitwood also quotes Millamant, but not seriously. She is merely the fashionable belle of the moment. Come to another minor character, that is Petulant. Petulant, young poff like Whitwood, a friend of Whitwood. Whitwood and Petulant, they were at the same age when they were friends, like Mirabel and Pioneer. His name is indicative of his character. Now let us come to important and dominant character, senior character. She is the whole and soul for the development of the play. Her name was Lady Wishfort, I told you already. Lady Wishfort was a vain woman. That means she could become widow. She lost everything in the very young age. Now she is 55 years old. But she is pretending herself as a more fashionable and pretty. And even at that age also she wanted to love. And she was being in love with Mirabel too. It is what we could see in the play. Later you know it. Who still has the pretensions to beauty. She is the mother of Mrs. Final, I told you already. Mrs. Final was the daughter of Lady Wishfort. And a guardian of Millamant. As she was niece, she was guardian of Millamant. And mother to Mrs. Final. She is herself in love with Mirabel. See that. Mirabel was loved by Millamant. Millamant was the niece of Lady Wishfort. And Lady Wishfort herself was in love with Mirabel. See that, how the love complications and how love is mobilizing to person to person. Although she is now spiteful because he offended her vanity. Now come to another important character, Sir Willful Whitwood. We have already seen Whitwood, young Whitwood. He was a young boy. He was studying law in London, and showing as a witty man on the age and a friend of petulant. And his brother, senior brother, elder brother, that is young Whitwood. That is Willful Whitwood. He is 40 years old. He is the second senior person in the whole play. Right. And he is planning to grand tour of Europe. As his brother was in London, he wanted to have a grand tour for Europe. That was usually made by young men to complete their education. He is Lady Wishford's nephew. See that. Sir Willful Whitwood was nephew of Lady Wishford. Millamant was niece of Lady Wishford, a distant and non-blood relative of Millamant's, and Lady Wishford's choice as suited to Millamant's hand. Actually, Lady Wishford was in desire of that is Willful Whitwood to get the hand and to become a suitor of Millamant's hand. It was her dream. See that. Some of other very minor characters of the play. Waitwell, Mirabel's violent servant and assistant. At the beginning of the play, he has just been married to Foible, Lady Wishford's maid. Whitwell was a servant assistant of the Mirabel, and Foible, Lady Wishford's maid. Both they were in the same profession, that is so as a servant, that is Waitwell was working, and Foible also he was working as a housemaid. Both married. The very beginning of the play, we see the marriage of servants of Wishford and Mirabel. And Waitwell, I told you that he was a servant and assistant of the Mirabel. He masquerades, and that means he disguised himself as a Sir Roland. The character is created character here. Sir Roland, Mirabel's non-existent uncle, is created. He was not actually an uncle. As a servant, Whitwell, he disguised himself as a Roland, and he wanted to get married Lady Wishford. There was a plan made by Mirabel. As Mirabel, he advised and guided that is assistant, that is Waitwell, to disguise himself as Roland and pretend himself as uncle of Mirabel and try to love Lady Wishford and get married. This was a plot made by Mirabel, by his assistant, that is Waitwell. Foible, Lady Wishford's maid and married Waitwell, I told you. Both the servants are the maid, and they married each other. And Mincing, Millamant's maid, young Millamant's maid, that is Mincing, and Peg, again a maid in Lady Wishford's house. There were many assistant and maids that were working in the big house of the Lady Wishford, and almost everyone has a servant. It was a fashionable life in the London of the 18th century. They have this. This is how we have the many more number of characters in the play, and the relations I told you. And now it is quite easy for you to get into the plot of the play and the complications of the plot and the plot and story of the play next. Thank you for listening and getting introduction to the major and minor characters of the play, The Way of the World by William Congreve. Thank you. Meet in the next such video session. Thank you very much.